Rockstar's Dan Houser really dug himself into a hole by blurting out what he did during his interview with Vulture. The studio is now facing backlash among games industry pundits after Dan seemingly touted the fact that he's got employees working 100-hour weeks for the development of Red Dead Redemption 2. Now, he quickly did clarify to Kotaku that he was only referring to himself and 3 other people in the senior writing team, and that for everyone else, working hard was optional. In response, a few ex-Rockstar developers took to Twitter to dispute Dan downplaying how employees at Rockstar are in fact overworked. One user talked about working 80-hour weeks in QA when she was with the studio a decade ago, and another user detailed how surviving GTA 5 crunch during his employment at Rockstar was hell, citing 14 to 16-hour days for 6 days a week, a regimen that lasted for about a year. Dylan also called into question the language Dan Houser used in his clarification statement to Kotaku, noting how Dan only seems to refer doing overtime and crunching incessantly as working hard or working passionately. Dan Houser may say that working hard is a choice, but those who don't choose to go above and beyond and force themselves to crunch seem to be viewed as lazier or less passionate. Both Twitter users even noted how those who wouldn't keep up with the same long, arduous hours as their peers, those who chose to lead more normal work hours to lead more regular lives, were admonished and had little chance of rising through the ranks. In other words, according to ex-Rockstar developers, employees have about as much choice about their working conditions as players have when it comes to microtransactions in their games. Now, there is no question that Rockstar does have a long, documented history of complaints directed at them about poor working conditions. Twitter user Rosie gave us her account from a decade ago. A few spouses released an open letter 8 years ago, months before Red Dead Redemption 1's launch, about employees being overworked without respite. And Twitter user Dylan talked about what it was like to work on GTA 5, and in all 3 cases, the feedback against Rockstar was damn near identical. But all those development cycles happened years ago, so there was always the possibility that Rockstar might have changed for the better over the last few years, that management may have stepped their game up for Red Dead Redemption 2's development. However, based on an old leak that's been pointed out, it would seem as though even Red Dead Redemption 2 faced a tumultuous development journey that has resulted in the burnout and departure of some of its key staff, contrary to Dan's assurances to Kotaku that everything is fine and dandy. The following information comes from a Reddit post by user Red Dead Insider. Now, the user's account and his post was deleted a while back, but it has since been archived by other Reddit users like this guy going by the name of Osmosis. What's special about this particular leak is that it was posted a long time before Red Dead Redemption 2 was even announced. Osmosis posted the archived version of Red Dead Insider's leak on April 15th, 2016, and according to Osmosis, Red Dead Insider's original post was published several months prior to that. While I don't know the exact date Red Dead Insider originally released his leaked information, it would seem as though it was sometime in late 2015 or early 2016, quite some time before Red Dead Redemption 2's October 2016 official announcement. Not only was this information leaked months before we knew anything about the game, looking back at it now, you'll see that the synopsis it provides regarding the game's plot is dead accurate. The leak reads as follows. Let's see what I remember. You play a gang leader named Arthur. The biggest change made to the game is you have a posse. If I remember correctly, the story kind of starts when you find out someone in your outlaw gang is a Pinkerton spy. The Pinkertons end up having you on the run through most of the game. You acquire lots of members of your gang, such as Abigail, Little Jack, Marston, and others. The core mechanic of the game is having to maintain and continuously move your outlaw camp. When you go on a mission, you will choose who to take with you, similar to Mass Effect or Dragon Age. The game spans 5 zones. A directive they keep getting is to make the environments more interactive like Skyrim, whatever that means. Now, this next bit does contain spoilers, so I've decided to blur it out and not disclose its contents. But for the bit that I did read out loud to you just now, if you've been following Red Dead Redemption 2 news, then you will know that just about everything in that paragraph turned out to be 100% true, which means that this Red Dead Insider fellow was a totally legit leaker. Knowing that Red Dead Insider is the real deal, that brings us to this next bit in which the user discussed some of the tumultuous aspects of Red Dead Redemption 2's development, stating the following. The last I heard, which was a few months ago, the game was kind of stuck in development hell of sorts. The team kept remaking a vertical slice demo for the leaders of Rockstar, and they aren't impressed. They didn't find it different enough or innovative enough. Hopefully they got out of that rut. I've also heard that since GTA 5, morale at Rockstar San Diego had been bad. Long-timers are quitting. Lots of turnovers, lots of frustration. Considering his information regarding the game has been completely accurate, I have no reason to believe that his statements regarding development hell isn't. The notion that Red Dead Redemption 2 underwent a tumultuous development journey is further accentuated by the numerous delays it faced before a final release date was set. Ex-Rockstar employees have also publicly expressed, based on their experience, that they do not believe for a second that things have changed at the studio in recent years, in large part because overworking employees for long stretches of time is so systemic and ingrained in the gaming industry. AAA development studios in particular have become complacent because they've been able to get away with it, and in turn, they feel no urgency to address this issue. And if Red Dead Insider's leak is anything to go by, there is further corroboration for what former staff have been saying, which is that Rockstar has been marred and continues to be marred by poor working conditions, even during Red Dead Redemption 2's development. Apparently, since GTA 5, morale at Rockstar San Diego has not been great, and lots of veterans are leaving as a result. Now, there are some people out there who have been defending Rockstar on this front, saying that if employees aren't satisfied with their work environment, if they cannot handle it, then they should just quit, citing how they can simply be replaced. The thing is, though, talented people are leaving in droves. That's exactly what's happening, and that's exactly the problem that the gaming industry currently faces. More and more seasoned developers and creative minds are departing to be replaced by less experienced workers. The folks who have mastered their craft through years of experience are burning out and are being substituted with up-and-comers instead. The creative drive of veterans is being snuffed out by the unsustainable lifestyle that many game publishers will subject their ground floor workers to. People aren't replaceable like machines. It's not like dropping and breaking a phone and then simply having it replaced with the exact same make and model. Not one person functions the same. Every individual brings something creatively unique to the table, something that no other individual will be able to recreate. Hypothetically speaking, if someone like Hideo Kojima or Shigeru Miyamoto decided to leave the gaming industry, you wouldn't just be able to bring replacements in. Those unique creative forces would be gone forever. Similarly, the seasoned artists, modelers, programmers, designers, you name it, these cogs that are pivotal to a well-oiled game development machine cannot simply be substituted like you would with an iPhone or something. Once they're gone, and nobody will be able to contribute in the same way they did. It is important to understand that there isn't an infinite supply of seasoned and experienced developers in the gaming industry, and if game companies don't strive towards nurturing and preserving valuable talent, then we'll eventually run out of them and be left with studios being run by an army of inexperienced rookies rather than a focus group of practiced experts. The effects of that may not be felt among consumers now immediately, but the gaming industry is hemorrhaging more talent than it's gaining, and that's simply not sustainable for the future of game development, especially as graphics and technology involved in the creation of AAA projects become more demanding and more sophisticated. Anyway, long story short, as more developers speak out and as more information is unearthed, it is becoming increasingly difficult to simply take Dan Houser's word that all is well behind the scenes, that people aren't being encouraged to burn themselves out, even if they have the choice not to do so, at the risk of being viewed as lesser employees for wanting to work more appropriate hours, that the choice that Dan claims employees have isn't an illusion. Now, we are bound to get more information in the coming weeks or months as Jason Schreier, who has broken a number of stories regarding troubled game development cycles and even written a book about the less than savory aspects of game development, is now actively investigating Rockstar in hopes to publish a report that will provide further insight into the kind of manpower, man-hours, and work regiment that goes into making a game as massive as Red Dead Redemption 2. It would be prudent until Jason concludes his investigation before making definitive assumptions, but based on what we have heard from spouses during the development of Red Dead Redemption 1, based on what we have heard from ex-developers who publicly spoke out on Twitter, and based on what this legit Red Dead Redemption 2 leak revealed, Rockstar may produce some of the best games ever made. They may constantly be striving towards pushing the boundaries of interactive media, and Red Dead Redemption 2 will no doubt be an incredible game, but it's all come at the cost of the physical and mental health of its workforce. And over time, it is driving away a significant amount of talent. And the thing is, contrary to popular belief, it doesn't take pushing employees to the brink to bring these games to life. All it takes is proper management and proper guidelines, one area where the gaming industry is woefully lacking. And look, I have no doubt that crunch will always be to some extent part of creating a big budget game, especially in the final stages, but that's different from long, perpetual, endless, relentless crunch that game companies demand by punishing those who choose not to overwork themselves. It's an issue that's best addressed sooner rather than later, before some of the best technical and creative talents in the industry decide that their efforts are spent better elsewhere, before we lose the experts who are uniquely qualified to help bring to life those beloved games we all know and love. If the gaming industry won't take this issue seriously, then it should come as no surprise that game developers are beginning to take matters into their own hands, and in turn, unionization seems to be right around the corner. These are one man's perspective on the situation anyway. I'd love to hear what your take is on all of this in the comments below. With that, I would like to end this news update. Thank you for tuning in. If you enjoy my content and would like to support this channel directly, consider donating on Patreon. And to be further updated on all things gaming news, reviews, and discussions, stay tuned right here on Young Yeah. I'll see you guys next time. Young out.